So this is awkward. Billy's supposed to be here, but I don't know what. Shit. I just got a note. It reads, "Dear Ashley, I'm stuck in Saudi Arabia. I'm being held against my will because the Crown Prince wants my stash of Bobby Lashley Supercard card because he wants to jerk one off to him." Wow. Oh shit, he just heard me say that. He's coming in and he's threatening with me with a gun to my head. Talk to you soon. Okay. Oh, hang on. Second message. This one reads, "Hi, Ashley. All is well. There is nothing wrong at all. It's not like Vince McMahon is holding a gun." What is all these people and holding guns to his head? What the shit's going on? Best Billy. Oh shit, just got a press release from WW. No, not WW. Oh, Billy's manager. It says, "Forever." No, hang on. Yeah, that's not clear enough. I need a second image. So yeah, we saw what happened on Smackdown on Friday with the NXT invasion, and they thought, let's do it again because we're desperate to make AEW look like bitches. So if the ratings come through on Wednesday and they're bad, we know who to blame. Triple H. More of that. No, hang on. Now it's. Wait, it's Forever United for the Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Another undeserved show of disrespect to us individuals. Okay. Hey, YouTube, are you ready for your hot tag? Because it's time to... Oh, hang on, I get it. I played Last of Us, so I get the idea now. It says fuck Saudi.
Hi, this is Leva Bates, aka Blue Pants, and you're watching WGS-TV.
Oh, wow. Well, I made it in time. I made it in time for the Raw review here on WrestleDOWN, everybody. How's everybody doing? I am the Wrestle Gamer, and joining me on the Raw review for that lovely... By the way, Ash, did you get my notes of distress? I mean, my notes of thanking the Saudi Prince. Remember, they're watching.
Well,
they're watching.
I know. But it's like we fucking planned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm breaking keyframe. I'm breaking keyframe. I'm all over the place.
No.
Where my gang at? Nick fucking Gage. Where my gangsters at?
Anyway, guys, before we get started on the Raw review, because normally what we do is we give a little synopsis of the show before we get into the review, but I'm going to do something a little bit different tonight, and it's because of the reason over the past week and a half I haven't posted any videos, and I do apologize about that. You gotta know that your friendly neighborhood Wrestle Gamer is human, and sometimes things happen where I'm not, let's just say, in the right place to make videos or talk about Raw, but everything kind of got whitewashed away this past Saturday night at Pro Wrestling 225's Fright Night event, where they did something very special for your friendly neighborhood Wrestle Gamer. For those of you who don't know, I have been a wrestling commentator for the past 11 years here in the state of Louisiana. I've done a lot of work with a lot of different promotions: Gulf Coast Wrestling, APW, Mid-South Extreme, Louisiana Championship Wrestling, so on and so forth, and including the current promotion I'm with right now in Pro Wrestling 225. And for the longest time, they have been asking for me to appear at the show, and it's not really easy for me to go to the shows with my health issues involving my hip and everything, but they said it was really important that I be there, and I was able to make the Fright Night show. And what they ended up doing is something that was never been done for me before. And I know this is going to appear backwards on the screen here because of the whole way that Discord is being set up, but they inducted me into the Pro Wrestling 225 Hall of Fame. I am their fourth person ever in their Hall of Fame. There are a few people I want to mention and I want to thank in regards to this. First off, I wouldn't even be a commentator if it wasn't for my good friend Matt Dunn. Matt actually accepted me and kind of showed me the ropes, helped me develop into the commentator that I am today, and I would not be there if it wasn't for him. And another person I definitely have to thank is a man that was been known as the Better Black. He's also been known as the Down South Samurai, but I know him as my friend for the past 20 years, Haniel T. Haniel T was the one who brought my attention to independent wrestling here in Louisiana, and if it hadn't been for him, I wouldn't even known about companies like Down South Championship Wrestling, LCW, MCW, and all of the other various promotions. I know this is taking a little bit long, but we're going to get to Monday Night Raw in just a minute. But another person I want to thank is Michael Boudreaux, a.k.a. Wild Thing. And also want to thank the general manager of Pro Wrestling 225, Jordy Pujol. Two great friends of mine. And I really do consider them to be friends. And they took it upon themselves, along with everybody else in the PW225 roster, to honor me this past week at Fright Night by inducting me into the Pro Wrestling 225 Hall of Fame. I can't tell you guys how much this means to me. It means the absolute world to me, because I don't consider this just for the work I've done with PW225. I consider this for the work for everything that I've done here in Louisiana for the past 11 years. And right now, Ash, words just kind of escape me when it comes to something like this. Nothing like this has ever been done for me before,
Yeah. It's always sort of humbling when your peers sort of acknowledge your work and all that, and for everything you've done for the local sort of scene, helping out. I'd say it's well deserved. Congrats from me.
So, thank you very much.
If I was a true Bobby the Brain Heenan, I'd take full credit just because of the commentaries that I've done on those 1 or 2 matches that I've done.
Especially for your commentary on Jordy Pujol taking on Michael White.
Yes, all me. Betty was shit.
So, once again, my thank you to everybody involved with Pro Wrestling 225. I also a couple of more names I want to mention. Gil Gracie, Mad Dog Gil Gracie, I want to mention him. Also, Big Ramp from Big Ramp Enterprises, I want to give him a shout out as well as the Overboys. That is Brett Ian Landry, Christian Blake, and the Asian Cajun Jordan Ja. They actually, after their match this past week at Fright Night, actually came up to me and said congratulations, each one of them. So I just wanted to give them a shout out. So now with all the sappy stuff out of the way, let's talk about Raw. Raw would kick off with the WWE Champion Bork Lazer and Paul Heyman. Heyman would explain that Lazer has a no-cut contract and that he can do what he wants, and WWE couldn't fire him because him being a substantial investment to the company or something to that extent. Easy for me to say. And I'm a commentator! Basically, what Heyman said that Lazer was privileged and could do whatever he wanted without repercussions. Heyman would also go on to declare that Lazer was going to turn the arena upside down until he found Rey Mysterio and would slap anyone who got in his way in the face because there wasn't a person man enough backstage that could slap him back. Lazer and Heyman...
Yeah. I'm trying to get the quote about it. What was it?
It was something to that extent. I'm paraphrasing here.
Something to do with bitch. Yeah. Lesnar was better than you and better than all the bitches in the back.
Yep. I would like to see him say that to Mustang Mike.
Is this Heyman angry at everybody bitching about Crown Jewel?
Maybe.
Considering he's creative. I don't know.
Yeah, Heyman, if you're entirely responsible for Crown Jewel, you are sadly slipping into the Russo mindset. Lazer and Heyman would go backstage and began the Rey Mysterio hunt, first attacking a crew person at catering, and then yanked another person out of the car. Ash, has it been identified who that person was? It looked a little like Andrade, but I couldn't tell.
No, I think it was just, probably New York wrestler jobbers.
Yeah, WWE's been prone to using them. I mean, they've used independent wrestlers here in Louisiana whenever they've been here, either at the Cajun Dome or in New Orleans, for various things other than talent enhancement, such as security. My buddy Haniel T, and a man who is now known as, I might get slapped for this, but his name is Big Daddy Yum Yum, Byron Wilcott.
Oh shit!
He's been a security guy in WWE before as well.
It's the Yum Yum of the Big Daddy variety.
But speaking of something that was absolutely Yum Yum, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
We need to mention how they put the Lacey and Natalya thing.
Well, I was going to mention that. I was going to mention that because I have that here in my notes to mention that.
Because flipping, the signs are back. Flipping Dio.
Yep.
Said he made his daughters watch the match. I mean, I'm sort of hoping not, but I can't even credit it, but I saw it somewhere on Twitter when somebody said, "You know why Natalya won that match, Billy?" And said,
"Why?"
Lacey wouldn't be allowed to hit her finisher because there's no women rights in Saudi Arabia.
Oh God. I'm sorry, guys and gals. But anyway, the opening match was Asuka and...
One, factually correct.
Well,
and two, maybe that's why Asuka and Kyrie were sarcastically clapping.
Yep, as they took on Natalya and Charlotte Flair. First off, didn't we see this match a couple of weeks ago?
Probably.
I think it was the week after the draft when everything's set in place. I think. Anyway, as you heard, Ashley mentioned the Natalya and Lacey Evans match from Saudi. From a certain standpoint, I can understand why they're kind of making a big deal out of it, but not to the point where you can make fans actually care about Natalya. Now, I'm not saying Natalya is a bad talent, but she's not on the level of an Asuka or a Kairi Sane. Yes, I'm being biased once again. This is my fucking channel. If I want to mark the fuck out for Asuka and Kairi Sane, I'm going to do so.
But why were Asuka and Kairi wearing blue and white?
I don't know. But let me put it to you like this, guys. This is how much I mark out for Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Sorry, I had to do that because I was hoping Billy would point out, no, it was black and gold. And then I'd go to that old meme of like the whole dress with, is it black and gold? Or is it blue and white? I can't remember what order it was. It was something like that. It depended on like what star sign you were or how you could see colors or something. Ow! Fucking in my elbow.
Ash, did you have a little bit of this? Did you have a little bit of this tonight?
A little bit of the bubbly. A little bit of the bubbly. No. I mean, yes, technically, because it is sparkling water. There are bubbles in it. Hang on. Let's verify. Yep, there are bubbles in it. So, sadly, it's non-alcoholic. It might have come out straighter, though.
Oh.
Speaking of straight, Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
How's Andrade?
This is how much I mark out for Asuka and Kairi Sane, y'all. I didn't care for Charlotte and her tits tonight. I have to point this out. When Charlotte was in trouble and reaching for the tag, she was clearly close enough to grab the top ring rope, let alone make the tag to Natalya, and they didn't go through with it. That was terribly done. Asuka had Natalya locked in the Asuka lock, but Natalya countered into the sharpshooter, and much to my chagrin, Asuka tapped. Yeah, I'm not happy about that, Ash. I'm not happy about that at all.
After 2 weeks, we're already making him a job to 14-time champions.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte's won 10, and I think Natalya's won. Maybe. Numbers. Then Lola.
Mm-hmm. After the match, Bork Lazer and Paul Heyman would approach Jerry the King Lawler on commentary, looking for Mysterio, and would make a threat about no one bringing him back to life when he dies again on live TV, this time at the hands of Bork. Yeah. Dio Madden would get in the face of Bork and would get F5 through the commentator's table for his troubles. Mysterio would strike with a steel pipe to the leg and took the fight to Lazer, even striking him with the WWE Championship belt. Backstage, Mysterio would cut a passionate promo and would challenge Lazer to a match for the WWE Championship at Survivor Series. So in essence, it means the match that we've seen for the past several years at Survivor Series, where it'd be WWE Champion versus Universal Champion, is not going to happen. Because it's already been confirmed that it's going to be Bork Lazer defending the Universal Championship against Rey Mysterio. I don't know if I agree with that move, considering what Survivor Series is as of late it's supposed to represent, Ash.
Yeah. I mean,
that's all we can say.
I was just pissed because, I mean, I don't want him to die on the air, but couldn't Lawler disappear and have the ones that actually know how to do good commentary in Dio and Vic? Because then good old dodgy dad jokes were coming out of Lawler, and they're all going, I'm switching over to Monday Night Football. There's a fucking cat in the touchdown area.
Well, to make everyone really...
That's more exciting than Jerry Lawler's jokes.
And also what was more exciting is than with the cat in the end zone is the Buddy Murphy Cedric Alexander match. Basically a time filler. And it wasn't really a bad match per se. It wasn't really terrible. They didn't fuck up or anything in there, but there was really nothing special about it. The finish of the match was Murphy hitting Murphy's Law on Alexander to pick up the win. But essentially, like Ash said, there are much more exciting things on Monday Night Football right now for everybody to watch, and WWE is putting forth Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander.
But Buddy and Cedric wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
The problem is, for us idiots that watch all the wrestling, we saw this in 205/Cruiserweight. So why do we need to see it again?
Seth Rollins was out there next to talk about his loss to the Fiend.
Hang on, I've got a press release here.
Uh-oh.
Like an actual press release.
Uh-oh.
I'm holding this up because we need to remember that Dio was taken from our lives. Coming up on Smackdown this Friday, it's Roman Reigns versus King Corbin. And the New Day versus Revive. This Friday, November 1st. Oh shit, I got the wrong week. Oh, hang on. I got the other one. This Friday on SmackDown, it's going to be Roman Reigns versus King Corbin, and New Day challenging Revival for the SmackDown tag title. Have I heard this somewhere before?
Well, basically, guys, the matches that
brought to you in association with Saudi Arabia suck. Is this from your fuck Saudi manager? What's going on?
A little bit of the bubbly. That's all I'm going to say. Seth Rollins was out there next to talk about his loss to the Fiend at Crown Jewel and how now the Universal Championship is on Friday Night Smackdown, and that Brock Lesnar was back on Raw and was once again at the top of the food chain in WWE, and felt like all the work he did over the past year was a wash and didn't know what was next for him. Cue Triple H's music with the NXT Titantron.
Yeah, that was the thing. Not like his graphics, just the NXT thing.
It looked like it was mixed in with some green, too.
Well, yeah, because Triple H. Triple H DX. It spreads. Voice is gone.
Yep. Triple H would
So,
Go ahead.
No, I want to point out this is something that's now I'm starting to get a problem with. Triple H, said, you wanted a war, you got a war. NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown. Back on Friday Night SmackDown last week.
Mm-hmm.
Who was in charge of WWE for the past 2.5 years? On television?
Vince?
Stephanie and Triple H?
The Authority.
So why the fuck should I be invested in him being in charge of NXT when in recent memory he's been in charge of the other two brands? You didn't think these through, Vince. Maybe you shouldn't got on the plane.
Triple H would bring up that maybe Rollins' future lies in his past, with him being a former NXT champion, then bringing up the formation of the Shield, and that he was a former WWE champion as well. Essentially, Triple H...
For a minute there, Billy, I thought you were going to say he needed to go back to Ring of Honor, because they need all the help they can get right now.
Especially with tag teams like Cheeseburger, Double Cheeseburger, and Triple Cheeseburger.
No, that was a fun distraction of a show, behind all the backstage problems.
Mm-hmm.
Which Joey Mercury made us all aware of last week. Because that and Saudi, it was like, who's imploding the worst?
From the crowd,
Meanwhile, Impact are just there, like going,
"We're here.
Oh shit, we're getting away with this.
Yeah,
we're the good guys. We're not used to this."
Speaking of which, Impact Wrestling reviews coming back to the channel starting tomorrow. From the crowd, the undisputed. Yep. From the crowd, the Undisputed Era would arrive and stood on the ring apron. Triple H said, "You're either with me or against me. Cue the OC's music." The Undisputed Era would retreat into the crowd, and Dominic Dijakovic and Damian Priest would attack the OC. By the way, Vic Joseph, Damian Priest did not hit a super kick on AJ Styles. That was Adam Cole.
Yeah, you'd have known if he hit a super kick, because the leg would have gone through the fucking roof.
Yeah. But
the slight different size in Cole and Priest.
And then the Raw roster came out and chased out the
It's like the Bushwhackers.
Anyway, a few members of the Raw roster came out to chase them away. I have to say, if this promo did anything, Ash, more than anything, in my opinion, and we saw this because there was a promo when they came out for commercial break, it kind of almost set up the main event with Adam Cole and Seth Rollins for the NXT Championship.
Even though they already advertised that.
Yeah.
In certain places, it was like,
yeah.
Oh, we didn't think this through, boys.
Speaking of
also, Seth still looks like a sissy.
Mm-hmm. Up next, speaking of things that were not thought through, Andrade and Selena Vega taking on Sin Cara and Catalina. I'm sorry, but Catalina was the major flaw in this match. Hands down, because of how green she is. I mean, she's only a month in from NXT.
Yeah.
And you can tell how jittery...
Which is why we need to give her the benefit of a doubt.
I know, but she was
too harsh.
But she was too jittery and hesitant throughout the entire match. She had no fluidity in any of her movements. Anything she did, she hesitated on doing and didn't make anything look genuine with her moveset. If anything, they should have brought up someone with a bit more experience in the ring, because Catalina, I'm sorry, needs work. She needs a lot of work. Just because she wears a mask doesn't mean squat to me if you can't perform in the ring when it counts.
You see, I give her a chance because it's somebody new that is clearly fodder. Yeah, it's sort of like the equivalent of...
You're on Monday Night Raw. You're on WWE's flagship show. You should not be jittery.
No, you're not. That's Smackdown.
You're on the USA Network. You should not be jittery. You should not be hesitant. You should have
Temptation Island, and you hate that show.
You're on TV. You should not be jittery. You should not be hesitant. And you should have some fluidity in your movements.
Something I'd also like to say. Fucking science.
Yeah. Kevin?
Her name's Catalina. Why do your graphics say Carolina?
You know what? It's because Kevin had a little bit of this.
No.
A little bit of the bubbly.
He clearly had something stronger than that, because remember last Friday SmackDown?
Oh, Tegan Knox with the K.
Tegan Knox with a K.
I don't know. The finish of the match was Zelina hitting a Hurricane Rana on Catalina to pick up the win. Also, did Zelina have a nip slip tonight?
No.
Crap.
It was close. It was close.
Yeah, she was moving around. She was moving around like that. So all I'm going to say is, hello, Aleister Black.
I want to pick a nip with you.
Speaking of nips, Rusev was ready to challenge Booby Loosely to a match, but Loosely came out in crutches, proclaiming that he tore his groin, pleasing Lana in ways that Rusev never could. Which, yeah, I know. Which is
in association with Gladrow.
Which is a contradiction. Oh God, I just thought about what I said. Contradiction. From what she said last week. Hey,
that's a good game on Steam. People should buy it. It's full motion video.
From what she said last week about Rusev. So having too much sex was the turnoff for Lana with Rusev. But apparently it's okay with Booby Loosely. So
well, clearly it isn't. She's having less sex because he's I bet Rusev's groin lasted.
Yeah. So what did they do?
Why are we talking about this about this in a positive and a negative way when we should ignore? Oh wait, we have to because we're reviewing. Fuck.
Yep. They called upon Drew McIntyre for the task of the match. And wouldn't you know,
because Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley are friends again.
Well, not really, if you think about what happened. Not really, if you think about it. And let me explain why. While Rusev and McIntyre were on the outside, Loosely magically healed and attacked Rusev with one of his crutches. Now, while the attack was going on, McIntyre was seen looking at Loosely and Rusev and just went like he had enough of it and left. I think if they were still if they were still friends in their gimmicks and whatnot, I think it would have made more sense for McIntyre to stay there and continue the beatdown, but McIntyre did not do that.
I like the write-up from Steve Kahn off F4W that I'm just getting the notes to remember what happened on the show.
Uh-huh.
He notes here, McIntyre waved his hand and walked off like this was the WWF Raw video game from the 90s.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Anyway, Rusev would make a comeback against Loosely and was ready to... Loosely continued the attack until Rusev made a comeback. The Bulgarian Brute was set to take it to Loosely with the crutch he had in the ring, when Randy Orton, for some unexplainable reason, RKO'd Rusev from behind. It was a 2-on-1 beatdown until Ricochet came out to make the save. Ash, is the only reason why they had Randy Orton RKO Rusev the Team Hogan versus Team Flair angle?
One, probably. And two, I think they were hoping for Randy Orton to get a pop. But then they realized, oh, wait, we're not in St. Louis. It's not going to work.
No, it definitely didn't. Becky Lynch was being interviewed by Charlie Caruso about what happened this past week on Friday Night SmackDown with Bayley and Shayna Baszler, when we would get a face-to-face encounter with Baszler and Becky that was intense and really sold it for their triangle match featuring the women's champions from each brand. I don't know what else to say other than Shayna stepped up her promo skills. Becky's always had good promo skills. I feel that Bayley might not be on the same level as them. I reference her Vince McMahon line that she did on Friday Night SmackDown the week after her initial heel turn. But,
I mean,
other than that, Ash, great promo. It's a great promo.
Baszler's lines, you know. I'm not Ronda. And at Survivor Series, I'm not going to take my eyes off of Bayley. But I want to come here eye to eye, champ to champ, and tell you, I'm going to pin you, I'm going to tap you out. I'm going to let you have the pleasure of choosing which limb you want broken. Be it your left arm or your right arm. And Becky's like...
Oh, we got to talk about before she said anything. She bent down and then got closer to her face and did the promo.
Oh, yeah. But then Becky was like, you know, I don't really know you, and I'm not sure if I would just respect you or slap your head off. Please for the chat, because I want you to feel the same doubt that Ronnie did. I'm not going to ignore Bayley either. I'm coming for you. So, rule of thumb, Bayley's winning because they're too obsessed with each other. Also, when the shit is four horsewomen versus happen and we break kayfabe.
I don't know.
Tampa Bay. That might be something to distract the people from all the Pirates of the Caribbean shit.
Next, speaking of shit, the Viking Raiders taking on the East Hampton Polo Boys. Really?
Sorry, no. Hang on, I've got my notes. No. It's the Chicago Cubs from last week, except they're just in polo.
I don't know what else to say. You put the Raw Tag Team titles on one of the best tag teams on your roster.
Flag on the play.
Uh-oh. Flag on the play. Ref, what's the call?
Personal foul. 69. Offense. He was giving them the business.
There's a cat on the fucking field. New set of downs. We missed a match.
What match?
OC versus...
No. I was a... Oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah, I do apologize. I do apologize. And I do have it in my notes, too.
I mean, what we need to... all you need to know about the Viking Raiders is they won in a minute.
Yeah.
And then said, oh, OC. You know, enjoy your trophy. And I'm like...
Yeah, you would think
but
it would cut a promo.
You've literally just announced them. You've literally just announced them versus Revival, or maybe New Day, versus Undisputed Era for Survivor Series. So why should they give a shit about the OC when they should be more focused on what's happening in 2.5 weeks? Just saying.
All right. Again, my apologies for messing up with missing the 6-man tag. It was the OC taking on the Street Profits and Humberto Carrillo. AJ Styles would go on AJ Styles went on record saying that he didn't care for NXT, and if anyone had a problem with it, he would send them back to Orlando. The Street Profits would congratulate the OC for winning the tag team turmoil match at Crown Jewel, but kept reminding everyone that they beat him on their Raw debut match. Even Humberto was in on the act. However, his voice doesn't match his body. You feel like he should be the guy that goes, "Indeed." Now, for the actual match, for what it was okay. Styles would roll up Humberto and had his feet on the ropes for the most part to pick up the win for the OC. And like I said, Ash, it was okay, but in my mind, it could have been better.
Well, what didn't help is really for the remaining 3 matches, the crowd did not give a shit.
Nope. Not even for the main event.
You know, didn't give a damn about the 6-man, didn't give a damn about Viking Raiders against Jobbers. And then when Seth made his entrance for the main event,
where was the burn it down?
Burn it down. It was just like, you know. And the same went for Adam Cole's, you know, boom and the baby.
Yeah, the baby I could hear a little bit. It was definitely louder than the boom.
It was Friday. Not as loud as Friday.
Yeah. So in essence, what we're saying, guys, is we feel the fans in Long Island didn't give 2 shits about the last 3 matches.
Which is weird, because Buffalo gave a shit.
But Long Island...
That much different. Maybe it's because, oh wait, they sat through 3 hours of shit. I mean, well, I shouldn't say 3 hours of shit, but they have to deal with a 3-hour show. Whereas, you know, they were invested up until the Rusev-Drew McIntyre thing at the 2-hour mark.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the match itself.
Just fell off.
Let's talk a little bit about the match itself. Cole would try for the last shot knee strike, but Rollins would counter with a roll-up followed by a double clothesline. Cole would then ascend the ropes looking for the Panama Sunrise, but Rollins would meet him up there with a superplex followed up by the Falcon's Arrow, but couldn't put Cole away. Rollins was set for the stomp when he would get jumped by the Undisputed Era, causing a disqualification. And then the Raw locker room would empty out, but more of NXT would come from the crowd, like Tommaso Ciampa, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, and so on. And of course, with all this humanity, I didn't see Pete Dunne.
Well, Pete Dunne's there because obviously he's going to be busy with Priest on Wednesday. Cheap plug.
I'll have to go back on DVR and see if I actually saw him. But anyway, with all this humanity, you would have to have at least 2 big spots to end the show. First off, Ricochet with the springboard shooting star press. Nicely done.
No, let's get the note. Keith Lee was standing there ready to do it. Then all of a sudden he fell down and Ricochet was fighting him, and then Ricochet was waiting. Ricochet did his dive, which was, as you say, nicely done. And then Keith Lee suddenly back up in the same position he was 2.5 minutes before. Like, oh, now he's doing it. And then he starts running towards the first set of ropes, and the graphic comes on in the corner, and I'm like, oh my god, they're going to run out of time.
Yeah, we call that a WCW Thunder outro. And Keith Lee wiped out everybody.
We've run out of time. See you next Thursday on Thunder.
But before we run out of time, let's go to overall score and thoughts. With how well received Friday Night SmackDown was this past week with the NXT invasion, I actually had my hopes that the follow-up on Raw with the NXT brand would be just as good, but sadly it fell short. Does anyone really care about Bork Lazer these days? I don't. Anytime the Kabuki Warriors are on TV is a good thing, but not when they're losing to Natalya, and I still didn't care about Charlotte's tits. Mad respect to Dio Madden for taking the F5 through a table. Mysterio's promo was good, but that meant that the top champion on each brand wasn't going to face each other, but apparently the other champions are. The women's champion and the tag team champions, and I wonder if the same will hold up for the secondary champions, the United States champion, the Intercontinental champion, and the NXT North American champion. Murphy and Alexander were time filler at best. Triple H and Seth's promo was good, and it did help set up the main event. Catalina needs to go back down to NXT after tonight. And did anyone see Zelina? That's all I'm going to say. I don't know how many times I can say I'm sick of the stupid Lana loosely Rusev angle because it's stupid. Becky and Shayna's promo was outstanding. I didn't care too much for the 6-man tag with the OC. Viking Raiders win the Raw tag titles, and for the second week in a row, face a joke tag team. And the main event should have had more time. The brawl after the match was okay, but the two standouts were Ricochet and Keith Lee. Overall score of Raw this week gets a 2.5 out of 5 with best match of the night going to the Kabuki Warriors. I don't care if they lost. I still got to see them on TV. With worst match of the night going to the Viking Raiders facing the same joke tag team as last week. Because what purpose did it serve? None. Ash, over to you. Overall score and thoughts?
2.5. You can tell that they're doing a show in Manchester next week. Sorry, not even next week. Friday, because they can't be bothered to do 2 separate shows because it's not 2 consecutive days anymore. So next week, we're going to pre-record this. Oh wait, we already do. We should buck the trend and go live. when Raw's pre-recorded, we go live. When Raw's live, we pre-record.
It'll be interesting to see how we pull that off. We'll have to work something in about that.
No,
we're
not going to do that much fucking effort. Well, I got you.
Yeah. I mean, if Vince and Kevin and Paul and Bruce are not going to put in the effort, why should we? But, anyway, guys.
Kevin.
That's Kevin. Well, anyway, guys, that's been our thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. We want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw. What are your overall scores, and what are your thoughts? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week? We definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. Be sure to put your comments in the comment section below. If you guys like this video, be sure you send that like button. Like a champ. I also want to send out one more time a special thank you to the guys over in Pro Wrestling 225 and all the indie wrestlers in the state of Louisiana for honoring me this past week at Fright Night by inducting me into the Hall of Fame. Again, guys, thank you so much. You guys don't know how hard it was for me to not cry over there because it was just overwhelming what they did. And I can't thank them enough for that. And then also, guys, if you want to see more of WrestleDOWN right here on the channel, you know the 2 ways. Yes, I said 2 ways. You got to do it. You got to leg drop the subscribe button and hit that bell icon to turn on notifications so that way you guys will never miss out on another video right here on my channel. So, with my special thanks to the Studly Man, Ashley, I'm your friendly neighborhood wrestling gamer, reminding all of you guys out there to just stay awesome. Bye, guys!
Nothing informative, so I just hold up the number 69.
Hey guys, I know we just ended the Raw review, but we have some late breaking information. Apparently in the dark match for Monday Night Raw, it was Seth Rollins and The Fiend inside of a steel cage with the red lights. How in the world does that make any sense when Bray Wyatt is drafted to Friday Night Smackdown, and yet you have him appear in a dark match at the end of Monday Night Raw with the red light gimmick? I mean,
in a steel cage.
In a steel cage too. What's the point?
Which I guess explains why they did the camera angle so much so they couldn't show the cage in the roof.
Oh, you know what? That does make sense. That really does make sense. But anyway, guys, we just wanted to bring you up to date on that. You know, again, this was like late breaking information. Like right after we just recorded the initial Raw review, we found out this information.
We didn't pay attention to Twitter enough.
Yeah, so we wanted to bring this information to you at the end of this video, guys.
This is Billy, by the way. I don't know how he's doing it without moving his jaw.
I have powers
saying.
beyond your imagination.
Hang on, you know why you know
Why are you
Billy,
holding why are you holding my head like that?
you know why you're just as good as Sid Justice, don't you?
How?
You have half the brain that I do. Wee.
Okay.